parents really don't know much when a kid's a teenager. And so, I mean, our kids respected us because they knew what our careers were like. So they knew at the level that we were, but other parents don't, they don't have that not every
Clout.
parent,
Yeah.
but a lot of parents, don't have that clout with their kids or whatever. And then it becomes a battle and the kid's always going to push back. They're going to stop playing or doing whatever because either the parent wants them to play and they don't want to play or they just burn out. So I think there's a fine line as a parent in when to push your child. You got to give them a nudge, and when to kind of just pull back and let them guide the ship a little bit.
Talking about the burnout, do you think the burnout comes from, like, is there a direct correlation between the amount of pressure that's being put on the kid to play the sport through tournaments, through family pressures, or is it more like kind of just like a boredom, like, hey, this isn't fun anymore? It's getting like, it's becoming almost like a chore. Like, where do you think that burnout, if you were to kind of dissect or analyze or take apart the young player that's experiencing burnout, what do you think the most common causes of it actually is?
Well, I think it's both. I think one can definitely lead to the other. Overdoing it too much, pushing the kid to do too much. Kid's going to get bored. I don't want to do it. And they get burned out. Or if they don't get a break, they just kind of keep pounding on it. They do it. The parent is relentlessly, okay, you have a lesson today, your fitness tomorrow, you have a sports psychology the next day, you're going to practice, you're going to do this, you're going to do that. On top of that, you got to go do all your schoolwork, and we're going to get you a tutor for this. And all of a sudden the kid's running around, and his day from 7 a.m. to 9 p.m., they're like running around ragged trying to get everything done. And doing that for young kids, let alone high schoolers, that'll definitely lead to a burnout period. I think parents have a challenge in, like I said before, in providing as much support as you can for the child to give them access to whatever they want to have access to overdoing it. I have a student of mine who a few years ago, she's got a 9 year, at the time she was 9 years old. The daughter, they told me they played 53 tournaments in the summer. I'm like, well, the summer's not 50.
Yeah, I was just trying to
There's
say
only
that.
52 weeks in it. It's 52 weeks in a year. They're playing 53 tournaments in the summer. That's 2 to 3, 4 tournaments a week. I said, oh my gosh, that's crazy. The kid's going to burn out. As it turns out, the kid loves it. So who am I to say what's right or wrong for the kid? I'm like, kid loved it. Now they do get tired. I'm like, look, come September, October, they're a little tired. And they're like, okay, the performance goes down. I'm like, well, maybe we should cut back on the tournaments a little bit, but they absolutely love it. So I have to be careful as a coach what to say. I'm like, hey, you need to pull back on your kid here a little bit because you're going to burn her out. And if I would have done that maybe she wouldn't have performed as well. I have another young woman who's going to go play college golf, and they ended up moving to Florida. And I was talking with her one day. I said, you need a break. I said, you go 7 days a week, you practice every day, you play every day, you do this, you do that. Like, your body needs a break. And she goes, every time I take a break, I get worse. She goes, I love to play. I want to play every day. I need to play every day. I'll take she started taking breaks as she got a little bit older into it. And then there are other kids. It's like, you need to practice some more. Get out there. You got to push them to get out there and practice. So it's a balance as a coach and as a parent out there to figure out what's right for the kid, not how you would do it. Like, a lot of this isn't how I would do it. It's what's right for the kid. And as a parent, we have to be careful to do things what we think is good for us or how we would do it versus how the child's going to do it, because they're different. And they'll tell you a lot of times. Sometimes you have to be careful because the kid doesn't want to disappoint the parent. And so you have to recognize that. And sometimes as a coach, I may throw out a suggestion, hey, why don't we give your son or daughter a little bit of a break here and let them come back to the game in a little bit. I actually had that conversation with a mother a few weeks ago. That kid's a rising senior in high school, and he's being lightly recruited by some smaller schools. And look, college recruiting is stressful for the parent and for the kid because they want to go to a good college, they want to play sport in college, but the coaches are on their own timeline. They're looking at other kids, and the mom's like, this is so stressful, whatever. And the kid's playing all these tournaments, trying to get his name out there, and his performance is starting to go down. I said, and I told this mom, I said, let's give him a break. It's not going to, what he does now is not going to make a difference anymore. So anything he does is not going to hurt him. Give him a break. And it was 2 days into the break, and she's like, how much longer should we let him not practice or play? What do you think? I said, he'll tell you when he's ready to go back. It's going to be at least a week. He'll get into it. And then he ended up going to one of these college recruiting camps, and one of his top choices, the coach extended him an offer. He's going to go play college golf next year. And so, so it was a happy ending. But we have had other situations where the player gets worse and then ends up not going to a college that they want to, or doesn't get an offer, and they end up going to a nice university, but they play club golf, which is also fine. I think parents need to understand that there's lots of options to play golf. You can play at a D1, a D2, or a D3. And if your kid's not performing at the right time or well enough, club golf is still just as fun. You can still go to a top university, and they have most top universities have great club golf teams, and it's competitive, and the kid gets into it. And look, if they play well enough, maybe they can try to walk on. So there's always an option out there. And like I tell a lot of students when it comes to college, there's a school out there for you. You just have to weigh academics versus athletics. Some schools have both, like a Stanford or a lot of the ACC, and that NESCAP schools are top academics and good athletics, and you can go one way or the other. So it's a conversation I always have over the summer with a lot of parents and getting them ready for the junior and senior year.